Dear fellow alumni, today as India celebrates its 74th Independence Day, the Indian Alumni Association brings to you a first of its kind alumni webinar featuring three accomplished women alumni. India for long has always believed in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the world is one big family. The Indian Alumni Association is following the same mantra and is pleased to introduce today's speakers. Syanaz Vinantaputri from Indonesia, Dee Ledonio from Philippines, and the moderator for today's webinar will be Senior Indian Alumnus, Miss Rita Day. Without further ado, over to Rita Day.
Thanks, Nikhil, and hi, everyone. I welcome you all on this 74th Independence Day celebrations in India. And I would like to convey all my best wishes to rest of the family members of AIM across the world. I strongly hope we would be also get independent of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thanks to Nikhil, he has kept us busy with webinars and seminars, almost every alternate week or, quite a few times, and with discussions. And that's really been great. Today we have with us two entrepreneurs, two ladies who are involved in businesses, and I'm delighted that gender has not been a bar to them for success. We have with us Dee Ledonio, 2002 batch from Philippines AIM, and Syanaz Nadia from 2003 batch from Indonesia to share their experiences and their limelight. So here I am introducing you to Syanaz and Dee, and I would request Dee to come first with her presentation and sail us through to her success. Dee, you have to unmute your...
Rita, that's so funny. I've done so many Zoom seminars, and I'm still, as I said, I'm still stupid with this seminar, doing seminar online. But anyway, good evening to everyone. And I saw in the chat room some of my friends in the board, Mike Makatangay, and I think, did anyone mention that Miss Karatek is also online? Hi, Miss Karatek. Anyways, I'd like to thank Nikhil for inviting me to be part of this Women Entrepreneur series hosted by FAIM and the Indian Alumni Association. I am so humbled and so honored to be with you this evening, and together with Syanaz and Rita. Okay, so my topic is actually my entrepreneur journey, right? So can I start now, Rita? Okay, may I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead, Dee.
Okay. The title of my presentation is Breaking Customs. I think it's very appropriate that I have entitled my presentation on that, because my business is freight forwarding and customs brokerage, and I deal so much with cargo handling, which is entirely a man's, not entirely, but in Europe and America, it's a man's industry. So that's the title of my presentation, Breaking Customs. So I've said, as Rita said, I'm a graduate of ME Batch 4 in 2002. I think I'm one of the few graduates of this course. So it's been 17 years or 18 years since I got out of AIM. Let me start my presentation by saying that I am a strong woman because a strong woman raised me. People would always ask me, Dee, why are you like that? It's because my mother, who is a single parent, my mother raised all three of us siblings, all by herself. And she has been a career woman all this time, and she has retired from the US Embassy after working there for 33 years. She is my idol, and her strength is very admirable. So that is why probably I am like this. Strong in the sense that I think I'm very independent and very hard-headed sometimes. My mother would tell me, stubborn. Um, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I believe in that. I graduated my primary and secondary school in Manila, and then after that, I took up my university, my Bachelor of Science in Commerce major in economics at the University of Santo Tomas, and then after college, after 6 years, I took up my master's in entrepreneurship at the Asian Institute of Management. After that, I also joined the program of AOTS in Japan. I think it's the same year in 2002. I really believe that education is very vital in succeeding in life. Up to now, I'm still friends with all my high school batchmates, with all my friends in the university. I'm still in touch with them. I'm very active in all these schools. I also am an active participant of all these reunions being hosted by AIM every year. So these are the quotable quotes that I chose to be able to represent all the photos that I'm going to show you, because this is my entrepreneur journey. I've been an entrepreneur in the last 26 years, and despite all the stress that I have with the business that I have, I'm loving every minute of it. Everyone is saying, Dee, can you discuss with us how is it to work in a man's world? I got this quote from Marilyn Monroe: I don't mind living in a man's world as long as I can be a woman in it. I started very young. Age and gender didn't matter to me. I started being in the cargo industry at the tender age of 22, and a woman at that. But I never really saw it as a disadvantage. Rather than I saw it more of an advantage, because you know what I say? Charm is the strength of a woman, while strength is the charm of a man. So I use my charm in solving my problems with the Bureau of Customs all the time. And with talking with freight forwarders in Europe, in America. So I use my charm all the time, you know. This was taken at the World Trade Center during a photo shoot. I deal so much with, we call them cargador, or I deal with so many men. I'm in our organization, the managerial positions are always led by women, and the men are the people under us. So it's actually in the Philippines, we have a lot of women executives in the freight industry. Here are some photos of my cargo conferences that I participate every year. This is with the exhibition cargo conferences in Prague, in San Francisco. So as you can see, it's mostly dominated by men. So every time I attend the seminars abroad, the women are mostly coming from Asia, as this is predominantly dominated by men in Asia, in Europe and America. But it's okay. I mean, as I said, they would rather, in fact, it is an advantage for me, because every time I have to do a B2B, it's easy for me to get a meeting with all of them because most of them are men in the room. Here is some photos that was taken in San Francisco in 2018. And here are some photos taken last year in Venice, also with cargo conferences. Can I show a little video of our company for everyone's information? It's only 1 minute. there. Um, Coltrans was organized in 1986 by Consul Bobby Joseph. He asked me to join the organization back in 1995. I was 22 years old then. He was one of our clients in one of the trade shows that we are handling. I started my work as a project executive with a trade show organizer, and then he was one of our suppliers. Then he invited me to be part of his group as an equal partner and to put up the exhibition cargo company for Coltrans, which I happily did so because I was only 22 and I said what could I lose at that time? Nothing. So, but I didn't know anything about cargo. But what I know is doing sales. I love doing sales. I love talking to people. So I joined the group back in 1995, and then we put up a company called Coltrans Exhibitions Company. We dealt with exhibition. We dealt with trade show organizers across the Philippines, handling different exhibitions from different industries. So that's how I started. Fast forward, today is already 2020. I've been with the group this is my 26th year in the cargo industry. It's been a happy journey. It's been tough, but it's okay. I manage about 45 employees, and we do a lot of one of our expertise is exhibition cargo, and we also do a lot of regular cargo. Back in 2002, after 6 years of managing the business as a managing partner, I decided to join AIM and enroll under the Masters in Entrepreneurship program because I believe that leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. That quote came from Mr. John F. Kennedy. And in 2018, just like what Nikhil has told me, what has AIM taught me? In 2018, I agreed to do an endorsement for our school, the Asian Institute of Management, for the Masters in Entrepreneurship program. And I'd like to show that to you so that everything here, everything in the short video would say what I learned from the ME program. So there, I'm very happy to have helped. I'm very happy to have helped AIM do that. To do that commercial video for enticing other entrepreneurs to join the program. And with AIM, after graduating, there's only 3 objectives of that ME course, as I remember, is I remember those are the 3 P's of the company. One is to professionalize the company. One is to be more productive and to be more profitable. I believe that I was able to achieve those goals for Coltrans, and up to now we're still following the business plan that I did for the company. My next slide would be the quote coming from "Take care of your employees and they will take care of your business." I would say my management style is tough, I think, but not terrifying. I love working with our employees. I love working with my employees. We always have a lot of team building activities. We always talk with them. I have an open, our organization is very simple. We run it like a family business, and they can talk to me from the managers to the people under the managers, they can just talk to me and discuss with me anything under the sun. If they have a problem with their manager, they can also discuss it with me. So that is my management style. We do have management meetings, not all the time, because my management style is we have this general email wherein I can read most of the emails of the office and then just make a comment on that. So these are the pictures that we have because we just like to have fun. It's a stressful job dealing with the Department of Finance, dealing with the Bureau of Customs, dealing with freight forwarders. They're all time sensitive shipments. You know, we work 24/7, so we make sure that we party and we hang out with each other and discuss problems among the group. So this year we're celebrating our 32nd year in the business. Our company is hard hit by COVID, which it's not really hard. It's probably badly hit because hard hit is some companies have already closed down. We're still dealing with a lot of importations, but the profile of our clientele is not really on the COVID essentials. So most of our clients have also slowed down on their importations. But hey ho, we lead a happy organization. We have not stopped working since March 15. We are always in the office, even on skeletal force. So that's our office. We're always partying. Who you are tomorrow begins with what you do today. Yes, I always go out there. I always network. I always plant seeds. I always make a difference. That is my motto in life. And with that, my school has recognized me as one of their most outstanding alumni in the field of entrepreneurship back in 2012. And the SCAL International Tourism Organization has also recognized my efforts for my contribution for the meetings, incentives, conventions, and exhibitions industry, being one of the premier cargo handlers in the exhibition industry in the Philippines. I've also written 2 books to help importers. One is the Basic Guidelines of Importing into the Philippines, a handbook for commercial importers, which I made it into a series of seminars, and the meetings, incentives, conventions, events, and exhibitions. Prior to joining the cargo industry, I was a trade show organizer myself, so I co-wrote that book together with the Philippine Conventions Visitors Bureau, or that is a sub-agency of the Department of Tourism. Strengthen your business by becoming a thought leader. When I wrote the book, I started giving out seminars on how to import goods to the Philippines. The first seminar I had was back in 2018, organized by Center for Global Best Practices. I had about, I think, 120 to 130 participants, all importers, entrepreneurs, those who wants to go into importation. And then we had a repeat of that seminar at the Marriott Hotel. So when I share my knowledge, I'm very happy because it's actually a silent marketing for our company. These are a room full of importers, and I would discuss what I wrote in the book, and I would teach them on how to save on their importation cost. This year, I did 2 seminars with the European Chamber of Commerce, how to import goods to the Philippines via Zoom, and another seminar this was June and July, with the same title with Peptars, who's an international trade show organizer. Mentors, we make a living by what we get, we make a life by what we give. That is according to Winston Churchill. 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I was invited by the Go Negosyo Department of Trade and Industry to mentor. This is free mentoring to all aspiring entrepreneurs in the country. So this is part of our advocacy, just to give out business advices for free. And I've done so many Go Negosyo mentoring programs in different malls. And every time I able to help an aspiring entrepreneur make their business, talk about how they're gonna market their business, or they're gonna bring their kid how to have an entrep mindset, I'm happy to do that all the time. So now I'm still part of the Go Negosyo DTI mentoring program. Education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. by Nelson Mandela. I teach also students on topics on MICE, on topics on customer service, on topics on entrepreneurship. I did so many seminars already with different college schools around the country, and there's some of the photos. And I'm just very happy to be able to give them that mindset, or I'm very happy to share my knowledge on certain topics that I know. These are some of the seminars I did for some schools. I believe in this so much, that your network is your net worth. Our company is more on B2B. We're not business to consumer. We're more on business to business. So I network a lot. I network, and I network. I just don't give out my business cards. I build relationships with our clients. I build relationships with people that I meet every day. So I'm part of several associations, and as an officer or as a member. I'm part of SCAL International Organization, which is based in France, which has several chapters in the Philippines. I'm also, this is with Doria Macapagal-Arroyo, the other photo. And then I'm also part of, I also attend a lot of engagements. This one on the right is a photo which I joined last year, a Silicon Valley Immersion Tour. I joined several entrepreneurs. This is together with the program of Professor J. Bernardo. This is the launching of the Airbus of Philippine Airlines on the left. I'm also an officer of Philippine Association Convention Exhibition Organizers and Suppliers, Inc. PASEOS is the leading industry association for the exhibition industry. So we deal a lot with the Department of Tourism and with all these international local domestic trade shows happening in the country. To be able to share your gifts and talents and learning is a huge blessing. Yes, it is for me. I love hosting. People would sometimes get me as a host, not as a professional host. Those people who doesn't have a budget for a host, they would get me as a host. So they would I would be happily to give in like, okay, I can host the event for you. So I just did the Asian Mice Youth Challenge, which has, I think, about 7 to 10 Asian countries who joined that forum last year. And then, so I would happily MC the event for the associations that would invite me. Sometimes for free, but it's fine. Of course, I'm always, they say you're the life of the party, because whenever there's a party, I would start the ball rolling, start singing, start dancing, or you know, if so I love doing all these things. So aside from teaching students, aside from sharing my knowledge on cargo, I do all this to relieve me of my stress from daily task of my work in Coltrans. So to move forward, you have to give back. How do I give back? In 2017, I was invited by our school to be part of the alumni board, which I happily did. I think I'm the second representative of the ME program, Masters in Entrepreneurship program, in the board, because if you know the history, the ME was taken out of AIM and it was brought back. So when it was brought back, we were given a seat in the alumni board. So I sat in the alumni board from 2017 until 2019, and I joined several activities of AIM. This was the Asian Institute of Management 50th anniversary gala evening. This is the board. That's Miss Coratec. So, and this happened this year because we were supposed to celebrate the 20th anniversary of ME, and I was supposed to lead the celebration for the reunion, but COVID happened, so probably next year we're gonna do that. So by giving back, I would say is by stepping up, you know, volunteering on some activities by the school or by the association. It's very hard sometimes to get volunteers. You know that, Nikhil? Business has a responsibility to give back to the community. We have a corporate social responsibility. So last year we did a relief program with the ITAS in Zambales. Our company did that. And I also was part of the Save Manila Bay advocacy. This happened also last year. And this year, I was able to give back to, even if badly affected by the pandemic, we gave back to those who need us. And AIMM did a video for this. Show it to you. So in our own little way, we help the community by giving back. I'm not all work. Life is all about balance. I have a 19-year-old daughter. I do have a 19-year-old daughter. Her name is Rain, and she's second year college at the De La Salle University in Manila, taking up finance and accounting. And I love being an entrepreneur has given me the freedom to manage my time. So it was never a problem for me. I think I've never missed any school activity. So yeah, that's how I balance. We're like best friends. So this is Rain now, and she's 19, and she's helping out in some of my other businesses. Entrepreneurs have a mindset that sees the possibilities rather than the problems created by change. I just posted this a day ago or 2 days ago in my Facebook. I have another business called Dee's Gourmet Popcorn. I manufacture gourmet popcorn. I supply some supermarkets, hotels, and airlines. But with the pandemic happening, there are no hotels and airlines. So I had to think of a way to pivot the gourmet popcorn. So we thought of making a do-it-yourself popcorn because there are no cinemas until when we don't know. So we've pivoted our business. We've thought of this because there is a need and there is a gap. And we thought that I spoke to my daughter, maybe we can do a do-it-yourself popcorn. It's like cinema popcorn right at the comfort of your home. And my daughter Rain is the one doing this right now in operations. She's helping out even if she's still studying. Life is fleeting, life is short. Learn to live life in the moment and enjoy life to the fullest. These are my future plans. This pandemic has taught me a lot of things, have made me realize that really life is too short. And whatever we have right now, it's not really that important. It's important thing now is to stay healthy. But after this pandemic, I really intend to travel more often, just enjoy my life to the fullest. And I love traveling. I'm still gonna do a cargo because this is what I know, and probably introduce other businesses. And I'm still learning because I just enrolled last year with John Maxwell. John Maxwell, I'm trying to be a certified John Maxwell public speaker, and hopefully I finish this course next year. So I'm still learning. This education never really stops for me. So what I have learned in business, I've learned so many in business, but these are the 5 little nuggets of wisdom I've learned in business. In transacting business, make sure you're easy to deal with. Don't make it hard for the client. I'm so easy to deal with, definitely. The customer is not always right, yes, but always deserving of respect. I believe in that. Honor your commitment to the client, even if it's only a gentleman's handshake. This way you build a good reputation in business. So my words are golden. If I say this, even if there's nothing written, I will promise you I will deliver that. Well, for some, money begets money. For me, it's money. It's more of hard work begets hard work, then money flows. And it is important to have a good reputation. Be fair, be honest, be trustworthy, respect one another. Just like in life, I've learned so many things in my 48 years of existence in this world, but this is what I know now. Don't let age change you, change the way you age. Take care of yourself. So look after yourself, love yourself. Don't rush into things because it feels like time is slipping by. Slow down if necessary. Life is sweeter when it is right. Be around people who lift you up and make you feel good about yourself and will bring out the best in you. Find your tribe. I've learned how to do this. I'm not anymore spreading myself too thin. I'm not running for a beauty contest. I know who are my friends are, and I know who are my friends who are just there because, they need something. And then turn your back on situations that threaten your peace of mind, self-respect, values, and morals, or self-worth. The struggles that we experience in life keeps us humble and makes us stronger. It makes our knees bend. And as a closing, this one I wrote this. For me, I have defined my own success. Success is how you define it. So the success coming from a homemaker or a wife or a plain housewife is different from the definition of my success. It's not how much money you have in your bank or how much real estate investment you have or how rich you are or how successful your business is. For me, success is simply a personal fulfillment. I may say I have achieved a little success in life and I'm still climbing that mountain. So thank you, Rita, and thank you, Nikhil, for allowing me to talk today.
Thank you, Dee. A very exciting presentation. You are a very young and successful entrepreneur. And you have actually answered most of the questions that I was planning to ask you. Things like, how has AIM really helped you to shape up what you are? Well, you have answered that, but then you can just very briefly tell me again
Maybe we can
a few
ask
words.
Rita first. Maybe we can ask Rita first to do a presentation and then you can ask me. Yeah.
Okay. So Syanaz, you can unmute your speaker. Yeah.
Yes.
So are you ready? Shall we have your presentation now? Hello?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
doing. Okay, so wait. Firstly, I would like to thank you, Nikhil, and then also FIAM, and then the India Alumni Association of IAM for having me in here, and congratulations for your Independence Day. We are going to have we're going to have ours, I think, in the next 3 days. And then also I would like to say hi to Mrs. Koratek and then several of my friends in Indonesia. I hope you all in the good health. So my name is Syanaz Nadia Vinantaputri. I would like to say that I am an artisan bag maker. Beside that, my activities is also one of the board of Semarang's Chambers of Commerce. Semarang is my city, my municipalities in Indonesia. I'm also a chairwoman of Semarang's International Council of Small Business, and also one of the board in Central Java's Indonesia Young Entrepreneurs Association. Central Java is our province also. What AIM had taught me in here, I still remember what Professor Lim Lingan used to say, if you want to do good, you have to do well. He kept repeatedly told us about this. And then secondly, even humanitarian works have to be done professionally using proven framework. And then thirdly, that's what triggered me right now with my business. Social entrepreneurship is one of the answers to balance the concept of people, planet, purpose, and profit. This is ROROKENES. We are an artisan bag maker specialized in weaving, doing weaving pattern from Indonesia traditional pattern, we do it into leather, and then also from fabric. And then the concept of our company is we are doing it with the sustainability concept and then also ethical concept. We are not moving from that. It says, and the gender is one of the main point from our aim and goals. This is the philosophy of ROROKENES. Based on the philosophy of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which is in English is called unity in diversity. We have about 80 languages spoken throughout the country, and then 130 cultures in the country. The weaving in ROROKENES bags represent unity in diversity. So from one piece of leather, we shred it into 1.4 millimeters up to 0.8 millimeters, and we weave it, and we give more added value on that. And this reminds me of our nation. As a weaving incorporates different elements into a whole while also incorporating authentic Nusantaran techniques in its production. The technique of weaving is already represented in our culture back to years ago. I think we do the research from 1700. There's already a weaving culture in our nation. The second, ROROKENES applies sustainability concepts along with ethics in the production of its bags. So our company is already listed also in GRI in Amsterdam. We do the checklist through GRI standard. Thirdly, ROROKENES must not generate more than 3 leftover or waste material in its production. And then we do the social auditing and then also the checking. Yes, our waste is not more than 3%. Any unused materials also donated for use by other craftsmanship under us. And they be able to make it into leather accessories as earrings, a bracelet, and everything that's for free. The fourth, ROROKENES must adhere to gender equality in its entirety. Even a catcalling in our workshop is forbidden. You will get penalty for that. And then there's no differences between men and women, especially in the salary and also in the benefit. Even the men, they got maternity leave bonuses as well. And when they got maternity leave, we don't cut any salaries or whatever. So they got the salaries full, and then beside that, they also get the bonuses for the maternity. 5, all ROROKENES products must be patented. We already got several patents in Indonesia, and then hopefully next year we are moving into international patent. The meaning of ROROKENES. We construct our brand is from Japanese. Japanese is my culture. Roro means princess. And kenes, when translated to English, will be witty. The English word for kenes is witty. So in my mind, ROROKENES is a woman who is active, intelligent, and possess a refined social conscience. There's 2 pictures of our loyal customers, two of loyal customers, and they're working. One is a lawyer, very active lawyer, and one is a public notary. They are very active. They are the representative of ROROKENES. What I see in them, one is a single mother raising 3 of their son alone, and she is established in her career, and then their sons they're doing good also in school, and then the other one is happily married, and she be able to balance the life between a housewife and then also a career woman. That's our brand mapping. If you know the brand Bottega Veneta, that's the brand that I really love it so much. So This is the reason why I built ROROKENES. When I asked my husband to buy me Bottega, he said to me, "Are you kidding me? Because Bottega Veneta price is $3,000 a piece." And then my father challenged me. Buying is very easy, but if you able to make one with 90% of local content and you wear it proud, the one that you are making among those brands, I called it a success one. So I think that that's a quite good challenge. So we do the research for about 8 months, starting in 2013 August. I still remember it. We do the research. I did the research. I went to several factories, leather factories, to know about what kind of leather that they are producing and what kind of leather that really much like a leather that Bottega Veneta used. How's the technique of making the bag? Because I'm not a designer. I'm not a designer, and I frankly speaking, I don't know anything about designing a bag. I learned it by myself, autodidact, from where? From YouTube and also Pinterest. And I look for several of craftsmanship that really have the same vision as me. And then the second brand that I really like is Valorni. Valorni is also an artisan bag maker from Italy. And then the shape of the bag that we are not following, but we are look into is Kate Spade from New York, and then also Fossil. The price of our price is around between $100 to $280, which is quite high. But Alhamdulillah, thank goodness, is being accepted quite well domestically, and also we already send it. We also sell it worldwide through our website and then through Instagram. And then for the wholesale buyers, we repeatedly send it over to Japan. Why Japan? Because Japan's market is the hardest market for craftsmanship. I said to my husband and then also to my team that if we were able to penetrate Japan's market, then we'll be able to do the flying colors in other areas. For the retail one, which country that we already sell? From UEA to Australia, from UK to United States. Our design is, the concept is simple, elegant, and urban chic. As I said before, the price is between $100 US dollars to $280. This is the ROROKENES color concept. ROROKENES color schemes utilize base colors along with them in order to create a simple yet elegant design. So in here, I used to use the pattern. I like the pattern of earthy color and then also base color. That's one of our product. I called it Aditi. It's a clutch, but you'll be able to wear it as a wristlet and also as a sling bag. We sell it around $120. Sorry, $145. This is the upstreaming mapping with sustainable development. As I said previously, that our aim is to use the sustainable development system wholeheartedly and also ethical. So the upstreams has to have the same part with our VMO. Raw material resources, it has to have a verified waste management system. Why? Because leather product, especially leather factory, produce a quite large of waste, and it can damage the planet if not being done properly. So we have the checklist that we have. Firstly, they have to have a approved management system by our government, which is called by the National Standard of Indonesia, and then also the ISO. And then they have to produce it 90% of the content or the leather materials has to be from Indonesia. And thank goodness from all the factory that we working from a source factory that we are working with, they fulfill all the requirements from our checklist. And how about the process? It has to be local workforce. So from we have 13 in-house employee with monthly payment. We paid fairly according to the standard of our government. Beside social benefit, beside a health benefit, and then also bonuses. They also got during COVID, especially during COVID, they have to eat inside. So we provide them with a good caterer, with a food that represent all the nutrition needed. So it has to have vegetables, fruits, and then vitamin. And I check whether they eat it or not. 12% are local Semarang. 1% is from Demak, which is about 20 kilometers from here. So it's still local. How about gender issues? As I said previously, no catcalling. Catcalling, first catcalling, you're going to get a notice. Second, no harassment as well. You're going to get a second notice. Thirdly, you out. And then there's no differences between women and there's no differences between women worker or men worker. And then our balance in here is 50-50. Availability of benefit and facilities for workforce. Yes, I do also provide them, especially during COVID. I do also provide them with protective equipment as like face mask, hand sanitizer, vitamins, and everything. And then we do the rapid tests on our expenses, on our company expenses randomly. Why? So I'll be able to make a culture that they know the danger of COVID, and they'll be able to also do the social distancing, wear masks and everything outside of precaution, outside of our workforce. How about the waste management? Our waste in here is only 3%, and is also being gifted. We are also being donated to the local craftsmen in here. There's about for the use of the production. How many craftsmen that already working with us to use the waste? I think we already have about 2 craftsmen that continues get our waste are left over in here. And then how about the end use or downstream customer data confidentiality? I have since 2014 our customer data. We already reached about more than 5,000 customers nationwide and then also worldwide, which is quite big. You'll be able like from our Instagram itself, that was right now 70% of our sales comes from Instagram since last year. So we already built up the path to social media since last year, and it's quite helpful during COVID right now, because everything, especially the customer behavior, is changing to digital. So they're buying it from online and everything. Business ethic in business agreements, yes, we have a contract. We always have a contract, especially if you're going to do the off-label. Every design that we are dealing during off-label. Off-label means that we are like in Japan. There are several designers in Japan that make the production in our workshop. So what happened in here? I do make the contract that their design or my design that specialized that's going to be used specialized for them is not going to go outside, and then I'll be able to use it as my production line after 3 years, and it's also being legalized by our notary, public notary. And then how do we know that we are successful or not? This is the third one, changes in our customer consumption behavior. So we always do the research from our customer base and then the non-existing customer. From our customer base, firstly that we always ask is what brand of bag that you used to buy previously before ROROKENES. And when they say that I used to buy this brand A, B, C, D, and then I moved to ROROKENES, or if they prefer the imported bags, but now they are buying ROROKENES or Indonesian, our brand, that's the success. That's for me is I'm quite successful because I'm able to change their behavior. And why? Because if you buy local, especially if you buy local brand as an Indonesian brand, can you imagine all the multiplier effect of economies that being done from upstream to downstreams? And then in the other hand, I'd be able to is what you call it? I'd be able to pay our workers, our local workers, with good salaries and the benefit that they are needed, and it means that I'd be able to escalate their way of life and their way of life and their quality of life. How do I use the how do I know about how do I track all of it? The checklist. SOPs, standard operation procedure, is a must. Key performance indicator is must. It must be done properly in the process and also in the end use or in the downstreams, in the end use or downstreams, plus with the customer research. So when I ask my workers, because like from 13 of my workers, mostly their education is only high school graduate. Some of them is junior high. To translate the word of KPI and SOP in a language that they be able to understand is quite hard. So what happened in here, every 2 weeks, our homework is to translate every word in our SOP and KPI in the very basic word that they be able to understand. This is our production. It's first starting with the master pattern, and then after that, the second one is from cutting of leather, and then this one is leather weaving. As you know that we are handling it with all with hands, and then after that, we are moving into sewing. This is our small workshop. That's the front, and that's the weaving area, and that's the sewing area. Oh yes, because I'm OCD, I have this disease called obsessive compulsive disorder. So I cannot stand with any garbage or rubbish on the floor. So in every section, I always give them a bag, a garbage bin that they have to put all the garbage there, divided from leather, and then the personal use. Why? Because this is also to make us, this is going every week, because when we collect all the garbage, we are able to do it, which one is we are going to recycle, which one we are going to give it to our cluster or a craftsman that that they are taking the waste, and then where that we are able to put it into dumpsters, the local dumpsters. That's our product samples. As you see in here, the pattern is very simple. Why is very simple? Because our bag is already cost quite a lot. $140 to $280 is not a cheap bag. It's quite an expensive bag. So in my mind, it has the function, it has to serve about 2 or 3 looks. What I mean in here is like you buy one bag and you'll be able to use it into 2 looks or 3 looks, evening, cocktail, or even if you are going out in high street fashion. And then it also is simple, so it's not going to be out of date, even if you wear it in another 2 years or another 4 years. And that's what happened, because when we track our customer back in 2015, they are still using our design up until now. So that's why they're coming back to us to buy some more. That's some of the samples. That's the clutch. It can be wear as a clutch, as an evening bag. It also in the middle there's it's a silver plate that being handcrafted into a traditional motif of Indonesia, and you also be able to wear it for a cocktail party. And then when you want to wear it as a high street fashion, you just pull the chain into a longer one. That's the bag. I know and when you see the black bag in here, the right bag, I make it for my husband. He asked me to, can you make it a bag that I be able to put my 14-inch laptop in there, very light, and I be able to use it as a tote bag, as a handle bag, and also as a backpack. And I be able to carry my bag overseas nicely. So there's a lot of pocket that you be able to put your 14-inch laptop, and there's a hidden pocket for your passport, and then also for your wallet and everything, and it's being secured by 2 locks. And I personally, I do not like to put my bag in the cabin area. I always put my bag under, when I went overseas, I always put my bag under the seat in front of me. That shape of the bag fit properly under it. So I'd be able to put my foot or my feet on top of my bags. Because sometimes when we have a long flight, during the night, when we go to sleep, right? And we don't know what happened if somebody or someone pickpocket or something, or put something in our bag. And I thought in my mind that the safest way, if you when traveling abroad, is to put your bag under it, and then you put the feet on top of it. So this is the social media marketing. Well, up until now, I just checked that my followers is up to 100. Usually every week, every month, our follower is up by 250 peoples. Right now, it's reached into 19,325. Account reach that we are tracking is 11,723. It means that the person that's seeing our post is that much. Impression, the one that goes into the newsfeed, is 39,361. With the interaction just only for this week is 965. The DM, the direct messaging that goes into us. How much the audience growth that said in here 110. Each range is exactly like our targeted customer between 28 to 45 years old. The gender divided 81% female and then 19% male. Location is, I targeted domestically right now. It goes into Jakarta. Second is Semarang, my city, and then thirdly is Surabaya in East Java, Bandung and Jogja. That's the five biggest cities in Indonesia. How about the website? Because we do the overseas retail through our website. Usually monthly, roughly average website click is 35. From that, we'll be able to derive around two buyers or 2 customers. The minimize is 1 and every month. We also have YouTube, but I haven't done it properly. And then that's our plan right now from this month up to December, that we are also going to sell it through YouTube. So it means that every month that we have to make a new content, a very nice content with a story in it about ROROKENES, about our brand, about our culture, about Indonesia, and how do we treat our workers in here, and how do gender implement, how do sustainable is the key. It's not just about profit. It's about people, it's about planet, it's about our purpose, then we are talking about profit. This is some of the newspaper, Indonesian newspaper that put us on their news. First is Jakarta Post. That's the story that telling the audience when I was detained in Domodedovo in Russia. I was detained for about 5 hours by the Russian custom. Why? Because they thought that I don't want to pay taxes bringing bags there. I only bring 10 bags. And then the packing list is not even, I think during that time, because it's an FOB price, it's only $1,300, which is I don't have to declare. It's only 10 bags, and it's only for the export. And I'm not going to sell it in Russia. I'm going to bring it back also in Indonesia. But then what happened in here? The customs, they did not believe our packing list as well as our price list. And what happened in here? They detain all the products, and they say to me that they want to do their own curation to know how much is the bag really is. And we just find out because they already put me. Our case is already in their court, custom court. The price is going up to 8,400, and even the governor, our governor, said to me, "You have to sell it higher." And I said, "No, I don't want to sell it higher. Our price is okay right now. To sell a bag up to $500 and $600 for me is just like, oh, I'm not really into it because I do it by heart. This is my babies. Yes, this is for profit, but I think I'm already get enough from that. I don't know about next year though." And then the second one is for the special edition from one of the Indonesian newspaper nationwide. That's the special edition for Independence Day, because we are going to have our Independence Day in 17th of August. It's being distributed to several of the minister office and everything. It says in here that some of the selling is being donated for the domestic violence and then also sexual abuse. Yes, some of ROROKENES profit, some of our profit is being donated for Pundi Perempuan. What is Pundi Perempuan? Pundi Perempuan is an organization that being established by Indonesia, by one of my MDM classmates, Andi Musari. I know that Korate still remember. So Andi Musari made this one with our Ministry for Women Empowerment, and then also Komnas Perempuan is a commission for women in Indonesia. She established this one, Pundi Perempuan. It means saving for women, which is in here. The aim is to establish a safe house for all domestic abuse victims and then sexual abuse victims. And then we also do the gender empowerment in the coastal area, and then also in the east of Indonesia. So some of the selling of ROROKENES goes into Pundi Perempuan. Even the flyers of Pundi Perempuan, what is Pundi Perempuan, where all the money goes, and then the meaning of domestic violence and also sexual abuse. I make a special flyer that I put in every bag that I sell. Why? Because every woman that buying our bag, buying ROROKENES bag, should know about the importance of fighting domestic violence and also sexual abuse, and where to find help when they needed one. That's the smallest thing that I'll be able to do. This is some of the Indonesian Expo that we are attending. Every year, there's about 3 biggest expo in Indonesia that they are attending. First is Inacraft, the second is Craftina, and then thirdly is that expo. In the left one is our picture with the wife of vice president and several of the wife of the minister. There's a secretary of state and also ministry of state. Yes, they buying our bag also. The second picture is the picture with Mr. Suharto's daughter. Yes, she is also one of our loyal customer. And then the third one with that's with our ministry, with our minister for tourism and then creative industry. Sometimes the ministry asked me to go to Jakarta, and then have a little bit of chit chat or discussion about how to, do the bridging between this kind of the high kind of or high end of managerial systems that can be implemented into not lowest but called SMEs in suburban area, especially for those who only get education up until senior high school or even junior high school. How to make them more professional. And there's several international exhibition every years. Yes,
Syanaz,
yes.
Syanaz, if I may just interrupt you for a moment, we are sort of running out of time, and there are some questions for you also.
Okay.
So for both of you, in fact.
Yeah.
So
this
let me know when to.
So this is several of international exhibition that we went. First is in Slovenia and then Austria. That's in England. I've been choosing by UN UN in last year. There are just about 400 women in small medium enterprises, and they gather it in Liverpool to do networking and everything. And then the third one is when I do the exhibition is Moscow, and I did not have any bags with me. I only have a bag that I carried with me. Why? Because all the Demo de Dovo customs detain hours. That's the sales. Roughly in 2019, we booked around 270 or 70 in dollars, in US dollar, $272,000 revenues in 2019. That's the me with several of the clusters. That's the weaving clusters, all women, being done in one village, in one of the villages in Central Java, in Klaten. That's the weaving clusters. Also in Semarang, there's 9 women working in that in the weaving clusters. Their education is only 3 of them is only high school graduate. Their husband working as a operator in a factory, or what do you call that, bus driver, and they have disabilities children, which is a severe CP. So we teach them how to do the weaving, and then they be able to collect it. We be able to collect it from them about every week, and we be able to pay them or give them the benefit quite much that they be able to provide the therapy and then also the nutrition needed for the children. This is the workshop training that we are also doing. As I mentioned before, some of the ministry in Indonesia, like Ministry of Trade and also Ministry of Tourism and then Industry Creative, asked me to do some speeches, but I'm not going to say speeches though, sharing about the small business entrepreneur, and then how do I build ROROKENES in here. This is the training and webinars that I've been doing during COVID. That's the left one is with the pundi perempuan, the one with the blue colors, me with Bapak Roni Mustamu. I think he's an MDM graduate also, but I forgot the year. Same year as Ibu Ning hari ini. He asked me to be one of the speakers in the webinar that he is conducted. And the black one is when Google Web Service asked me to do some speeches or some sharing for their webinar. This is the social awareness branding. As I said before, I always give pundi perempuan flyers into every bag that we are selling, telling them about the program of pundi perempuan and why do we have to fight domestic violence, why do we have to fight sexual abuse, and where to find help if you find any. And then that's Ani Usari, my classmate, the one who created Pundi Perempuan. And this is also to some memorandum of understanding with Basnas. Basnas is Badan Amil Zakat. It's like a charity organization in Semarang, in my city, that some part of our profit is also goes for their benefit, that they be able to distribute it again into several small entrepreneurship that I'm also becoming a mentor there. Let's finish. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Syanaz. May your sales figures go bigger and bigger each year. And that would be fantastic. And we will be waiting in India for your bags, and that are meant for active, intelligent, and socially conscious persons. I would not make it women, but I will say persons. So there is one common question for both you and Dee. If you can begin, Syanaz, by telling what is the one single factor that contributed to your success?
Oh.
Very briefly, one single factor.
One single factor, God.
God.
God,
Okay.
yeah, God and my family. That's for sure.
Okay.
I'm nothing without God, and I'm nothing without the support system of my family.
Right.
So when they say that my husband is lucky or etc., and I say that I'm the one who's lucky, because I totally think that everyone can not handle, but be able to cope with me. So having him as my husband is a treasure.
Okay,
He never
great.
let go. Yes.
That's great. And Dee, for you, you have to unmute. Please unmute.
My faith, but more than that, or shall I say, I think what really made me, if you're saying that I'm successful, is my professionalism in business. Yeah, it's more on how I deal with people.
Okay.
It's really like that. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So family and your professionalism. I think both, if all that gets together, then it's fantastic, right?
Yes.
So we will be waiting for the popcorns in India and also for the bags, right? Okay.
I love the bags of Syanaz.
Yes. Syanaz, there is one question for you. Like you said that your scrap is reusable and you use it well, right?
Yes.
What about the recycling or upcycling of plastics, rubbers, and other materials that you use? How do you deal with that?
Okay, so far I did not use any plastic material though, because I'm only use a leather and then also fabric. So there is no use of plastic in here. So I can say that the plastic that we are using is only the plastic the one that we are consumption, like for the wrapping, and then also for all the snacks or the food that we are eating. So what happened in here, we divide and then we do the cleaning, and then after that, again, the crafter collected and they be able to make bags, another bags, or probably like what you call napkins, not a napkins, but a placemat made of the plastic. But the plastic is very minimalist. I'm not going to say that plastic is one of our main resources, because our main resources is leather and also fabric. It means that cloth. our traditional cloth.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nikhil, over to you for your comments or summarizing.
I'm just having popcorns, Dee.
Okay.
But this is not. But this is not your popcorn. This is my daughter just got me one. So she liked your Facebook presentation.
Thank you.
She said that when can we export it? By the way, I didn't know, but
exporting it.
But you know, Syanaz, my wife is on this webinar. She has never attended the webinar, but she came when Dee was talking about popcorn and you were talking about bags. So I think you have a customer shortly. But, if anybody wants to ask a question, I can unmute. So
anyone importing, exporting here?
So if anybody wants to ask a question, they can raise their hand and I will just unmute them.
Maybe Nikhil and I can join and have an export-import firm soon.
Yeah, we'll do it for you.
With so many entrepreneurs.
And before I forget, the third lady who was the most moderator, and Rita Day. I mean, you have seen her resume, development management consultant, and she has really done a lot of things in various countries, in CIS countries, in the Mekong Delta and everything. And everywhere she has done a fantastic job. And she's also a woman entrepreneur. And before I open this thing, Rita, my humble request, just 2 minutes about what you do, please. Because there are many MDM students here and you're MDM
97, yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, it's always been very difficult to talk about myself. I've always been doing presentations on everybody else's behalf or doing a project and presenting. Since 97, when I came back from Manila, from AIM, I was trying to start my own firm and I was looking for a name. So I started the name Development Management Consultants. It went with my degree, it went with AIM, and so it went with my alma mater. And since then I've been doing mostly studies and implementing projects, dealing with project evicted people, infrastructure related evictions, water sanitation, behavior change communication, implementing, monitoring, doing research, and all the way. And it's continuing. And now at present, I'm dealing with economic recovery of informal workers who have been actually laid off because of COVID. So COVID is something that actually has brought us together, while it has also taken people, apart. So that's how life is. And I wish everybody luck and everybody, to come out of the pandemic as soon as possible. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask both of you a question. What other than work is your passion, are your passions or your hobbies? Dee and...
I paint, Nikhil. I paint. I do painting as a hobby.
Okay.
I do lots of TikTok videos.
Oh, then I see.
I dance, I sing, I travel, there's no shopping now. I create new businesses. Maybe it's small or whatever, I help my daughter now be an entrepreneur if she wants. So yeah, I love painting, I love singing, and I love dancing.
Syanaz, what about you?
Oh, well, mine is so simple though. I like to eat. Yeah, I'm a Buddhist.
That's good.
I'm a Buddhist, yeah. So I'm a Buddhist. I like street food. I like street food.
Okay.
And then secondly, I like to sleep.
Okay.
I like to sleep.
Very basic.
Also what you like.
Yeah, I like to sleep. And then I like eat, sleep, and I like to read. I like to read books and travel. That's only four of it. So 4 of it is really heaven. So when someone asks me like, do a vacation, that's what I do. I travel, there I eat, and then I sleep.
Fortunately, there's no traveling now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So if there are any questions, I can unmute or any questions. Koratek, you'd like to ask a query? I'll unmute. Koratek, go ahead.
Well, first of all, yeah, I'd like to congratulate both women. Who are both, I call them fabulous and fashionable. Syanaz was always in fashion when we were at AIM. Syanaz, you graduated in 2002, not 2003. Otherwise, you're not my classmate.
Oh, yeah, okay, okay. Yes.
All right. And Dee, of course, has shown this, her wit about doing a job of a man's world, no? So I congratulate you, Dee. You never gave us a story during our board time. But Syanaz, I am so impressed with you. From development, you became an entrepreneur, and social entrepreneurship is still there. And I really wish to congratulate you because, at AIM, you were not really showing any business sense. You were all just doing a lot of, you were just enjoying at AIM at the time. So
Yeah,
I think your husband, as you said, is your treasure.
Yeah, I just did a lot of partying there. Not studying, but partying, that's for sure.
But you remembered what Mr. Limlingan has told us and has taught us about doing good and doing well. I think all our AIM graduates are in that kind of thinking. And, when we were doing transformational leadership webinar, we could see that a lot of alumni, AIM alumni, have this sense of really wanting to help, wanting to improve the world. So congratulations to both of you. Nikhil, thank you for putting them together. You got me interested to join this webinar.
Oh, well, I mean...
Sorry, there was no video and there was no sound in all my videos. I thought there was, Nikhil, because there's sound on my end. I'm gonna throw my laptop.
We also have Kartika Antono, Kartika. Kartika, can I unmute you? Yes, Kartika.
Hi, Bu Kartika.
1 minute. Kartika, can I unmute you? I think, and there is even Ronnie here. Ronnie, would you like to? There's Ronnie, and Dennis was also there. So anyway, thank you so much, the 3 ladies.
Thank you, Nikhil, for bringing us together.
No, and it has been a really great session. And one complaint, both of you overshot, okay? And that's the reason I did not become the moderator, because handling women is very difficult. So I made a lady as a moderator. So Kartika is here. One sec, Kartika, hi, unmute.
Hi.
Yeah, Kartika, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Nikhil. Hi, everyone. I am very proud that 2 ladies presented very well with the business. I'm sure that this is inspiring everyone to move ahead. So because the came ahead is the innovation, I think this is a good chance and timing in this crisis to have more innovation for the future business. Again, congratulations and all the best.
Thank you.
And we also have Professor Purba Rao. I don't know if you all know Professor Purba Rao.
Yeah, of course, Purba.
I'm trying to unmute her. She is in Shanghai, but she has joined the group. So Professor Rao, can I unmute you? Because we have not seen you for ages. Professor Rao was from 1988 to 2008.
She taught me also.
Taught me also. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's, yeah, Professor Rao. Let me just see. Professor Rao?
Yeah.
Can you switch on your video, Professor Rao? We all would love to see you. Are you there or?
Hi, Rita here.
Hi.
Kemun acho?
Sorry for the Bengali.
So, Professor Rao, you were the first, I mean, you are one of the leading entrepreneurs, I'll say, of stats. So please go.
No, not an entrepreneur. I'm just a teacher.
So your nuggets of advice or suggestion, you have taught all of us.
Yeah. No, let me first congratulate Dee, Syanaz, and Rita for the wonderful work they have done. No, it's really great, you know, what you have done. But can I
you.
just ask, since I'm on the video, can I just ask one question to Syanaz?
Yes.
Yeah, one of your slides had said that you have done an upstream mapping with sustainable development. Did it also include environmental sustainability?
Yes, environment sustainability in here, I track it with waste management. The waste management, waste management from the resources that we buy, all the leathers and also the fabrics that we are using, and then also the waste management that we are conducted in our workshop. So far, I try to do the really green energy, because like a zero waste one is going to be quite difficult. I try to do like into a green kind of energy with using less electricity and everything, by using solar and solar, etc. But due to COVID, we have to do the budget cut. Hopefully by next year we'll be able to put the solar system in our workshop. So then we'll be able to say that we are a green industry.
How about sourcing of materials?
Yes, the sourcing of materials, all the leather factory, they are mandatory to have a waste management system that being approved by our government. It's already in the Indonesia National Standards checklist. So when I went to the factory, I always ask for those checklists. Do they have the certificate? Do they have the checklist and everything? And then personally, I went to their waste management system areas. I did it because when we established a business agreement with the Japanese buyers, what they did first, they asked me about the waste. And when they went to our workshop, they asked me to took them to the factory to the vendors that we buy our leather. And in there, the Japanese, our Japanese buyers give me all the checklists, and then also the preferences that what to do and what do not. And thank goodness, all is being approved with our buyers. So therefore, yes, the price is going to be quite high because it's an established leather company, and also it's an export leather company. But they are doing it locally in Indonesia, the factories in Indonesia, and then sources of material is 80% Indonesian from the Indonesian as well.
Okay, thank you. Actually, but you can also sometimes consider greening the supply chain for your company.
Oh yeah, thank you very much for your input. I will look for it, because I really want to establish a green business, and especially in leather. Leather is a challenge though, because leather. When you talk about leather, it's not going to be a green industry. We are developing a green leather right now, made from wood, but it's not being developed quite well yet, because when I soak it into water for our research and development, when I soak it into water for about a month, it's deposed. It's not supposed to be deposed. So we're still we are still doing some research on that.
Okay. Yeah, because tanning the leather is a very toxic operation, isn't it?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So this became like an MRR thesis now. Huh? You was questioning, and I mean, thank you, Professor Rao. You took us back to AIM, where in a very sweet manner you used to ask questions, and even though we couldn't answer you sometimes, but the smile was so endearing that we just had to accept.
And you haven't heard her singing.
Oh,
she sings so well.
So thank you very much, all of y'all, for joining in, and thank you, Professor Rao.
I'm again missing AIM now completely. Yes.
So thank you so much, and bye-bye. Thank you all.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next time. Bye-bye.